Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business-to-business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives, 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank #1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. It's the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. Today I am here with Kathy Marcino. I said that right?
Hi. Yes.
She is with kmmdisc.com, which she is a disc extraordinaire. Explain to us what disc is, because you'll do a better job than I will.
Okay. Yeah. It's a behavioral tool used primarily to help employees and managers create more effective relationships in the workplace.
Oh, that's great.
So think of it as Myers-Briggs for work.
Myers-Briggs for work. Oh, that's great. So you can figure out where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and all that. So how did you find your way into this?
Exactly.
Let's start back at college. Where did you go to school?
I went to St. Joe's. St. Joe's, the hawk will never die. Yeah, for any of my hawks out there. And I went literally right from my junior year of college. I went into the job that I had for 18 years, which was a healthcare research company supporting all the pharmaceutical and other healthcare institutions. I worked with Wyeth, I worked with Rome Polonc, and I worked for Pfizer for 9 years. That was my client.
Oh, wow.
And so pretty much 4 out of 5 days a week, I got my butt chewed out for something that we didn't provide right. And so I learned how to deal with conflict at a young age and how to minimize it, how to turn it into an advantage. And so I used this tool a lot during that career when I was hiring for my own team. And then when I left, I decided I'm going to go get certified in this and help other business owners do what I did internally with my team and how to communicate, how to increase your productivity, your employee engagement, and improve your relationship. So not only internally with your coworkers, but externally with your clients.
Oh, that's awesome. Everyone needs that.
Oh, yeah.
When you're an entrepreneur, your team is one thing, but then you also have a lot more clients. I think it's on you more than you don't have the management structure above you to say, hey, go talk to Joe up there. It's you.
Right.
How long have you been doing the entrepreneurial journey for?
It'll be 6 years in January.
Maybe past the 5-year mark. That's great.
I know. I'm waiting for the LinkedIn. You know, when you have your LinkedIn anniversary in January, then it shows I'm legit.
Oh, yeah, because LinkedIn makes it legit. Exactly.
Doesn't it, though?
It is fun. So is this the only thing you do, or do you do a bunch of other tests as well? Or is it this is your sweet spot?
This is my tool. When I became certified to do my own business coaching, I thought, well, the market's saturated. So how do I differentiate myself? And so, like I said, I love this tool. So that's why I thought, let me get certified in a tool that I know every entrepreneur, business owner, Fortune 500 company needs.
Absolutely.
So everybody needs to improve their communication. And so that's what I do as my first line of therapy with every client, whether it's an individual or a company. And so that once I'm in, then we'll talk about leadership change management, organizational structure, things like that. So DISC is just a small part that shows, okay, here's how you prefer to communicate, here's how you prefer to learn, and let's take it from there.
That's wild. And so, being in corporate America for 18 years, what's the scariest thing about jumping ship and going out on your own?
The realization or the wrecking ball that hits you in the chest right away is all the things I don't know. That was the first thing, like, "Oh, I got this," because I knew what I could do. This is kinda like where, ties in with what I do with my clients. I knew what my strengths were, and I thought, "Oh, I can figure out the rest," but I couldn't figure out everything, and so I wasted a ton of time trying to learn systems and all of those things that just aren't in my comfort zone. And so I
Mhm.
wasted a lot of time instead of saying, you know what? I can't do this. Let me hire somebody to do this. Let me find someone who's more of an expert than me. So I wish I had done that sooner. And so
Mm.
it's like, recognize what you can't do well and spend the time on the things that you really can do well to grow your business.
It's
Hmm.
extremely scary. But the rewards, if you've done right, outweigh the scariness, in my opinion. What was some of the best things about being an entrepreneur for 6 years?
Figuring out that stuff. So once I had once I knew, okay, these were my blind spots. If I hired somebody to help me, then I learned myself and then I could continue to do it. So now I kind of feel like I have more of my own tools that I didn't have before. So now I kind of feel like, okay, I can speak to things now that I never thought that I could. And so that I can add that to my toolbox, right? When I go to other clients. So
That's
that's kind
nifty.
of been that's been really positive for me, but also, finding out things that my clients, so not only I needed to learn things to make myself more successful as an entrepreneur, but working with my clients, what else are they asking me that I need to learn to teach them? So
Yeah.
having the flexibility to do that is great. So it's that work on your business and working in your business. I kind of always hated that saying, but it's so
Mhm.
true.
It is.
So I need to have my own professional development. And I think being flexible in my own time, I can set aside more time for my own professional development. Whereas
It's
if I'm in
needed.
corporate, that's not always provided, and it's not
Mhm.
provided on a regular basis and in the time that I need it. Because
Exa
everybody's changing and
yeah.
evolving, right? So I got to go along with it.
Exactly. So, what kind of stuff do you do for personal development? I mean, obviously, the mental health is a big thing. You have to make sure you get outside, you go for a walk, you
Yeah,
meditate. What do you do to keep yourself sane while you're an entrepreneur? I mean, it can be a lot of screen time and not a lot of social
there's a
interaction.
ton. I like to run.
That's good.
So I like to go outside and run and listen to music. And I read your article that you wrote on LinkedIn about how many podcasts, and I always set aside the time to listen to the podcast, and I never get to all the ones that I want to.
I have subscribed to 50 of them, and I never listen
Yeah.
to all of them. It's kind of nice to have the variety, but it's like I have three that I always listen to. They're like my three core, and then the rest are just sort of I throw them in when I have time.
For me, I need to lose myself in music. So
Hmm.
that's how I give myself my own downtime for self-care. But for professional development, I sign up for as many webinars that I can.
Hmm.
And so then I can kind of speak to that to my clients who aren't as familiar with that, saying, "Hey, this is how it's impacting the rest of the world. How is this impacting you?" And maybe I can kind of, I can help you out there. So
That's
I just
wild.
try to learn as much as I can.
Yeah, and absorb as much.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Sometimes
key
it's
when
overload.
it is overloaded. Or I always sign up
It's
for
overload.
a bunch of webinars, and I get to maybe three of them because it's always
Mhm.
something comes up, either family side
Yeah.
or just work. It's like, I can't get to that one. But if you sign up,
Yeah,
usually you get to at least get the recording that you'll never look at. The tr
well, I was just gonna say I rarely watch it live. Like TV shows at night, I rarely watch them live. I end up watching them some other time, but at least I know it's there when I need it. So,
exactly.
I've been traveling a lot, and
That's good.
I've been starting to travel back, and so this is my this I'm traveling out of town next Tuesday.
Well,
I
that's
have a whole
exciting.
thing lined up that I'm gonna watch a lot of these webinars online that I can find. I've got a chunk of time where I can't be distracted, so
Hey there, it's Jason with the Marketing Podcast Network. Real quick, I want to make sure you know that the world's leading B2B Marketing Expo is returning to the Los Angeles Convention Center on March 21st and 22nd. It's high time we got back together to learn, see the latest technologies and solutions, and network, right? Join thousands of marketing professionals just like you to learn from over 250 industry expert speakers, educational masterclasses, and over 300 exhibitors. And this year, your ticket also gets you into the Sales Innovation Expo and the Marketing and Advertising Expo. So it's like 3 conferences in one. It's March 21st and 22nd at the Los Angeles Convention Center. Go to b2bmarketingexpo.us to register. That's b2bmarketingexpo.us. The Marketing Podcast Network is a proud partner of the B2B Marketing Expo for 2023. We'll see you in LA.
We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show. So here's the question I ask most of my guests, all my guests, is what is the most important thing to carry with you at all times?
Wow. That's a great question. For me, I think I have to carry a sense of humor with me all the time.
You are very funny and happy.
Yeah. I just have to find the humor in things sometimes. So I'm going to carry that with me all the time. Sometimes I just have to add a little lightness to what I'm doing. And I think sometimes, and I'm speaking for myself, but I can tend to take myself way too seriously and the situation way too seriously. And I get caught up and can't get out of my own way. So sometimes I just have to take a step back and say, you know what? This isn't a life or death situation. What I'm thinking of right now, we've had, sadly, we've all been in life or death situations over the last year and a half. And so sometimes what I'm doing is just not that important. So let's just keep it in perspective.
Everything in perspective, exactly. So Kathy, you have a giveaway for our audience. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Let me kick off the holidays. So, like I said, I love conflict, right? I learned to deal with it. I learned to manage it effectively. And it makes me crazy when I see people, family members, friends, clients, putting their head in the sand and thinking that if they avoid conflict, it's all going to go away, right?
Yeah.
So what I put together is 5 tips of how to turn. It's specifically geared for the workplace, but obviously I think you can use this with your own family, especially spouses and partners, if you've been working together under the same roof. But it's 5 tips to turn workplace conflict around.
Ooh.
So you'll hear me say a lot, conflict is not negative. It does not have to be always negative. So 5 tips to turn workplace conflict into a positive experience. And I made it super easy. All you have to do is text 66866. And then when it prompts you to type in the word conflict.
Oh, that's very easy.
And then I will send you that tip sheet.
So it's awesome. That's great. Awesome. So Kathy, where is the best place for people to find you online?
Pretty easy. It's Kathy Marcino on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. My company is KMM Consulting. And my email address is kathy@kmmdisc.com. And I've included links on all of my social media to schedule a call if you want to learn more about me, my services, and if you think there's a way that we can work together and I can add some value.
That's awesome. Kathy, you're fantastic. Well, everyone, this has been another episode, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
That was a great show. Hey, if you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please give us a review on the podcast directory of your choice. We're on all of them. And these reviews really help others find the show. Also, if you're getting value from the show and want to buy me a coffee, go to the show notes and click on the link to help me stay awake while I bring you more great episodes to your ears. That's in the show notes, and I look forward to the next episode. Take care, guys. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Gordon Glenister hosts an outstanding podcast called the Influence Global Podcast. Gordon, tell these fine folks what they're going to get when they listen.
We interview some amazing people from all around the world, whether they be influencers, content creators, brands, influencer platforms, anybody involved in the influencer industry. There's some fantastic guests that make a fine listen for you. You can find them on marketingpodcasts.net, or you can also find them on my own website, which is www.gordonglenister.com.
Or, of course, wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.